All right, day 11 is in the books. It's still light out back at the Airbnb. I got over 8 hours in, all hours today, by the way, overtime pay, because yesterday I broke my 40th hour of the week, so that's nice. Instead of the 11.25 plus all the down rates, I got like 16.80 or something per hour plus all the down rates, and the same thing tomorrow. Final day of the week. Today, 8-game mix. It was not the 8 games I thought, so it was complicated. 3 different types of blind structures. So there were 3 stud games. The stud games in horse, the R, the S, and the E, Raz, stud, stud 8. Those games have, you need to know the ante, the bring in, and the limits. So before the first card is dealt, everyone has to ante a certain amount. It might be, for example, 100, 200, 500, 1,000. So everyone antes in this example 100 before the first card is dealt. Then the worst card brings in for 200. So in Raz, it's the highest card that's face up. Everyone gets 2 cards face down, 1 card face up. So in Raz, the highest card face up brings in. You have the option to make it the smaller of the 2 numbers that comprise the limit, but usually that player just does the bring in amount, the smaller of the 2 amounts. In this example, that would be 200. Then a complete from there would be the smaller of the 2 numbers that comprise the limits. In this example, 500. And on 3rd and 4th streets, the bets are 500. On 5th, 6th, and 7th streets, the bets are 1,000 in that example. So 3 games of the 8 are under that structure. 3 games are just fixed limit. So there's a, say it's 1,000, 2,000. Let's move it over. Say it's 1,000, 2,000. That means the blinds are half. So the small blind is 500, the big blind is 1,000, but the limits are 1,000, 2,000. So pre-flop and flop, the bet amounts are 1,000. You know, bet 1,000, raise another 1,000. And then turn and river, in this example, the bet amounts are 2,000. Bet 2,000, next player wants to raise, it's 2,000 more, 4,000 total. So it's a deuce to 7 triple draw, limit hold'em, and Omaha 8. Those 3 games have that betting structure. And now let's move it back. 2 games have small blind, big blind with a big blind ante. No limit hold'em and pot limit Omaha. So say for example it's 500, 1,000 are the blinds. 1,000 is the big blind, and the big blind has to put in an ante of that amount. So no limit is pretty straightforward, easier to deal. Pot limit Omaha, sometimes people like saying pot. You have to do the pot calculation, which is triple the last bet plus everything else in the pot. So if the blinds are 500, 1,000, and there's a big blind ante of 1,000, kind of important, that ante. Someone wants to raise pot, it's 3 times the last bet. The most recent bet is the big blind, so 3 times 1,000 in this example is 3,000, plus the small blind 500, 3,500. The big blind ante does not count towards the pot calculation during the pre-flop betting round, but on the flop, on the turn, on the river, it does. So just need to be aware of that. And yeah, I had a guy, really just one player, I think, at one table who was betting pot fairly often. Most other people kind of know what the pot is, and they're betting like half pot or like 2/3 of the pot, and no need to do the calculation. But I was ready with it. When that guy said pot, I was like anticipating it. I said the number quickly. So yeah, dealt 8-game mix. Miami John Cernudo was at one of the tables. He got into a phone use at the table controversy with another player. And the table next to that table, so I did deal to Miami John. I did not deal the next table over. James Woods, the actor, was at the next table next to Miami John's table. So they were there. I don't think anyone would notice, but people who play mixed games around town were playing the 8-game mix. And one more thing, I guess, I didn't know until today, there's a binder behind the tournament podium. Every day they put a new sheet of paper in there, and it's the previous day's downs. So you could look up your name and see how many downs they had you down for, just a way to check to see if they're going to put the correct amount towards the calculation that calculates your pay. So I wrote all those down for the previous 10 days. I'm going to go inside right now and check to see that their numbers match mine. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's really about it. Video done. Tomorrow, day 12. And remember, rice is a spoon food.